Hi guys, welcome to the latest episode of my What If series. Right now we are going to go through what if Sasuke and Naruto both had devil fruits. Now, if you're wondering how this would change up the power system, just think of it like this. They are more like physical creations rather than chakra based ones, so no chakra absorbing abilities will work on them. Uh, and they need to expendedly train on them. So think of their growth kind of like quirks, but they are extraordinarily more varied in terms of their abilities. Now we'll go with the first one. Naruto will we'll go over devil fruits that each one would have, but like different ways that it will turn out. Like for instance, uh, Naruto having Luffy's devil fruit, and Sasuke having Blackbeard's devil fruit. Uh, uh, Sasuke would be able to. We go through significant moments through the story, along with their powers and what they can do, their various techniques, and also like how it would affect their character. So first we go into well, I already said it, but Luffy versus Naruto. I mean, no, Naruto having Luffy's devil fruit. And Sasuke having Blackbeard's devil fruit. Sasuke will have. Uh, Alright, so the whole thing with Sasuke's. They'll both eat theirs at the same time. So, like, it will be right before their origin stories. So Sasuke, while he is going to go to back to his house, and Sasuke before his clan gets killed, and Naruto uh, while but during the day when he goes to school. So Naruto would eat his devil fruit. He would learn about it. Well, not learn, but he would sort of learn how to stretch and unstretch, how to pull it back and how to bring it out. Sasuke, he would see it come out, but he wouldn't know what to do with it except for emit it, and well, that's it. They go through their normal origin story, but Naruto gets the scroll a little bit faster, and he is able to protect himself ish from Mizuki, at least until Iruka comes, helps him out. And then Naruto also would do more damage to Mizuki, mainly because, well, the impact of Luffy's devil fruit. And then from there, they will have their own sort of training arcs because Naruto at this point would be a few years and a decent time away from uh, becoming a part of Team 7, so they both would get some training in. Naruto would learn the basics, and because I know he's smarter than Luffy, he would be able to create a Snake Man type move before Snake Man existed by pumping his sides up with flesh and air. He would be able to launch it outwards, making a proto Snake Man. And he would also have a bunch of other stretchy based moves, but those would mainly be using his shadow clone abilities and creating clones at super far away distances to help mix up the opponent. He would train in the forest since he's, alone. He wouldn't really have anyone watching him except for the Yonbo. And in terms of his abilities, I don't think he would learn Gear 1 or Gear 2 at this point. I think he would be much like pre time skip Luffy, but like with minus really devastating moves, like really wide set stuff. He would have like really straightforwardish type stuff. Um, and then for Sasuke, he would be able to train well, and with his abilities, he'd be able to learn that. And yes, certain devil fruits will be able to interact with chakra. For instance, the dark fruit would be able to absorb chakra and negate any effects that it has. But Sasuke would also learn the negative effect that the dark fruit has, which is that it increases the amount of pain the user feels. So Sasuke's whole attack style wouldn't be long range. It would be he would decide that like based off of what he has currently, he needs to go for a very mixed up combat style, with him being able to shoot a small barrage of fireballs forward and suck in the floor around him to pull them into a giant sweeping fireball. Well, mainly to the face. And use darkness to pull in his opponent into a string of combos, or force them to run away by making a ball of darkness. If you're wondering like how vast the darkness would be for Sasuke at this point, I would say it would be about. It wouldn't be the same as Blackbeard did when he fought Ace, but it would be enough to where it would be multiple city blocks big if Sasuke decided to let it all go out, although he would be tired. So then we get into the Land of Waves arc. Nothing really changes except for Sasuke having a easier time with Haku, mainly due to his darkness. Haku, I think, would be too fast for Sasuke still. Zip right through the mirrors and hit him right in the back. And then we get into the tuning exams. I don't think Sasuke would be as fast as he did, and due to the pain, increased amount of pain he feels whenever he gets hit, Rock Lee's attacks would do significantly more damage to him, and he'd be even more pissed. So we'll go from there to forward to the whole thing with Orochimaru. I do see Sasuke tearing up the snake and launching it around with darkness, but I don't see it doing anything. Naruto with his clones and like the raw power, uh, a barrage of punches Luffy's devil fruit would provide someone with just sheer strength alone in a single hit that's gathered up from the speed. It would do a lot of damage, is what I'm saying. But I still see things playing out the same way that they did until we get into Naruto. Until we get into the main set of the tuning exams with Sasuke fighting Yoroi. He would he would be like Blackbeard, but mainly sort of tired due to the curse mark, and so he would just sort of rely on it and go full out with it. No more cursed Avenger. He's too tired to deal with that, and so he just absolutely folds Yoroi. Where's it? I get the other two. I get them both mixed up due to how they work, but yeah. Then we get into Naruto's fight. I only see Kiba's claw getting stuck in one of Kiba's like claws, because Kiba also has claws. It would get stuck in Naruto, and I see him being like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And so Naruto would just um pull a wombo combo on him, launch him in the air, and then barrage of punches, slam him into the ground with one of his feet. Now we get into the training that Sasuke has. I see Sasuke getting more into the long to mid range type and would only rely on close range combat if necessary. He would copy Kakashi's moves for close range, mainly not Kakashi but Rock Lee's moves for close range, but mainly uh if necessary. He would increase his chakra with Kakashi. He would learn how to use the Chidori. He would learn uh with Kakashi several other jutsu that are under the barrage of lightning release, with Kakashi also learning some moves that he has early, like the lightning cable, and the lightning wolf sort of thing. Um, and Sasuke himself would be able to, would have like sort of gadgety type stuff on him, like a cord that would be able to have lightning string through it, or darkness to whip at the opponent, or just send chakra through, do a nature release, and it sparks the person once it hits them. It would be a pretty good move, mainly to keep the opponent back from doing physical harm, mainly if they're rushing him. And he, I see Naruto's training sort of going the same way with Jiraiya, but he would learn Gear 2. He would learn Gear 2, but it wouldn't last very long in comparison to Luffy's version of it, mainly because the tuning exams training time didn't take wasn't very long, and so I don't see it, working all that much for him. Now we get into the fights. Naruto would be able to get the jump on Neji with Gear 2 and get some good hits in, at least until Neji gets the pattern of Naruto's attacks, because he can't really use Gear 2 that much because of the physical drain on him. He would summon a bunch of shadow clones, and then he would use Gear 2 to get the jump on Neji from either behind or from a certain angle once he's taken out all the clones and is looking for Naruto. And then, bam, right at that side. And then Neji would shut him down, and we would sort of get the same ending for that fight. But it would just sort of take longer for Neji to catch on. Then we get into Sasuke's fight. Sasuke, his whole move set would change. He would be mid to long range, and once he shows up in the ring, um, he and also his range with his darkness would increase to be small town level in terms of power. He would be able to warp the darkness with his chakra fireballs, so he would launch it at Gaara, and it would sort of eat at his chakra armor, and Gaara would realize, oh shoot. And so Gaara, for the first time, would sort of have to move around while fighting. Sasuke would realize this as well, and he would launch his cable out as a lightning whip, slash at Gaara's legs. Well, not slash, but hit Gaara at his legs to stop him from moving. Do the cable around. Do black hole to absorb the sand armor floating around him, and then both his legs, and then fireball right directly to the chest, mainly as a sort of way to make cover for the Chidori. Uh, Although he knows the lightning cable, it would take too much chakra at this point, and so he would do one Chidori, blam, right into the stomach. Garo would decide, you know what, Chukaku, right now, I'm tired. you can have this. Shukaku goes all the way out, and and Sasuke doesn't know what to do, so he tries to go all out with darkness. It mainly just sort of pisses off Sasuke. I mean, no, not Sasuke, Shukaku. It doesn't do a whole heck of a lot of damage, but it would piss him off. Then you get into uh I would say though that it that Sasuke after this point he would sort of uh try and figure out his moveset, how he's gonna fight, because he knows that Itachi also has the Sharingan, and would wonder, okay, I need to come up with moves to counter the Sharingan, so I need to do analysis and all that. So he'd still be working on himself, but not as much, mainly due to him not knowing how to fight, because he would see Naruto fight Shukaku alongside Gamabunta in the middle of the arena. The two would fight, and this with Gear 2 Naruto lasting a bit longer than he regularly would, and him just passing out due to stamina loss, not chakra. I Okay, now getting into the search for Tsunade arc, Naruto would be able to make the Rasengan mainly because well, not mainly because, but he would be able to make a weak version of it. And then with Gear 2, plus some training and help with Jiraiya, he'd be able to learn how to do Gear 3. So Naruto would do all his would summon several clones to launch them in the air. They all would go at Tsunade. He would do a giant hand with a Rasengan from the side to try and hit her on the right side while she's dealing with a bunch of clones from several angles. She hits the ground, they all go in, and and then she punches away the Rasengan, destroying it, and also the just sort of knocking out Naruto. She would be impressed, but she wouldn't, think it was a very good strategy. So, and since she technically was forced to get hit by the Rasengan, she reluctantly goes with them back to Konoha. Now, the way I see this going is that Itachi and Kisame would get there first, um, then Orochimaru, because Itachi and Kisame would learn, okay, they have Tsunade, Orochimaru's going after them. Naruto needs to stay safe right now. Shoot. So he and Itachi go on the pursuit first. They get there. Itachi does his whole menacing gag of, "Oh, we can't beat the Sannin. Let's wait until Naruto's alone." He goes in. He uh and Sasuke is also there. It's at the same sort of place where they all met. And originally, and then basically everyone that showed up did against Kisame and Itachi, Asuma, Kurenai, Guy, and Kakashi all jump down, get ready to fight them, and then Soda, Tsunade, and Jiraiya. They both get ready, so I don't real I do see Itachi and Kisame getting out of this, mainly because Itachi uses Amaterasu, and they both and Itachi grabs Kisame and then run straight out because you'll see later why I think he's faster. Why? I mean, later on with a different video I have coming up. But with this, we get into the final valley. And for all those wondering, yes, I do think that Itachi would still do the thing with it. Sasuke and put him under Tsukiyomi. He went with Kakashi, and this would do some better training with Naruto. And I see Naruto learning some more moves under Gear 2 and getting some really good stamina increase. I don't see him learning the Rasengan, but I do see him learning how to do a nature change with his chakra, being able to do a small wind gust in his hands. And combine that with the pseudo Snake Man, and he would be able to launch a wind projectile from almost any direction with his shadow clones also coming in. So now we get to the rooftop battle. I think it would take a little bit longer to catch Kakashi's attention. Sasuke would mainly, I don't think he would use a lot of devastating moves, but he would use a lot of stuff that would certainly catch Naruto off guard, like Black Hole. Uh, I don't. Now, as for everyone wondering, I don't think it would take away from any of Naruto's physical strength. I do think it would take away from the physical boost that it gives Naruto, though. So I don't see him being able to stretch if he's being touched by darkness. He'd be able, so Naruto would be able to hit him, be able to throw him around, and yeah. Now we get into to the final valley. I don't necessarily see Sasuke winning this, mainly because you add on Gear 2. Gear 2 is Gear 2 is a substantial increase. For all those wondering, Naruto, Luffy was sort of in the middle, lower middle of the CP0 squad, and then you add on Gear 2, and he's he's matching Leopard. Well, not matching. He's on the lower end of fighting uh Rob Lucci, but I don't see him, they're not exactly equals at the beginning of that fight. So I see it sort of going like that, where uh due to the speed gap that Gear 2 gives Naruto, he would be able to zoom right at Sasuke, plus with the one tail boost, Rasengan's chakra, all that, he'd do massively more damage to Sasuke than before. Then you add on like the darkness amp for Sasuke, he might be able to get some pretty good hits in on Naruto, but I don't necessarily see his darkness overwhelming the Rasengan, particularly. Well, I do see it overwhelming the Rasengan at this point, but I see it sort of like think of it like a pie chart, right? The darkness would be able to eat up 3/4 of the pie being the Rasengan. And so the Rasengan would still have a little bit of juice until it, faces the actual Chidori, and then the Chidori just. But Naruto would still have the cloak, and so it would still sort of end the same, but Sasuke would have a harder time at winning. Now we get into part 2. In part 2, Sasuke's moveset would be extraordinarily different. mainly due to him being able to have lightning fire release. He would also learn how to enhance his lightning release with darkness to increase the amount of damage it does, like when he shoots out a bunch of electric needles all at once. Or does Kieran, it would also be enhanced with darkness, so it also pulls in the opponent, so it does more damage, but not by much. And then we get into his other moves with fire. I do see him being able to not use. I do see him being able to use fire around him, kind of like how Toby Ramo is able to use water in the air to do. I shoot. Which technique was it? But he was able to cancel out Hiruzen's using one of his techniques where he pulls water in from the air and gets rid of a bunch of fire. I do think that would work mainly, uh, but it wouldn't take a substantial amount of chakra. It would only be used as a last resort sort of thing because it would be pulled into a sort of condensed ball using black hole as a mix, and then it would be used as a sort of a version of the Rasengan, use lightning release, and then it sort of amplifies its speed, so that way it makes sure that it hits the opponent in the right spot. It would sort of act like an explosion, but also a vacuum at once, ripping them all up and burning them in the same spot at the same time. So, now you might ask, well, what about Naruto? What about his abilities? Well, over the course of these few years, Naruto would be able to use Gear 2 for much longer. I would say about, like, if he's just fighting Shinobi on his level, I think that he'd be able to fight them for, like, if he fought a copy of himself, but it didn't have a Gear 2, he'd be able to, like, if he fought a group of 4 Shinobi that were just like him, he'd be able to fight he'd be able to take on all 4 of them for several hours, but mainly uh because of his speed and like the length of his attacks being able to blast through the shadow clones. So then we get into Gear 3, he'd be able to use it for other limbs, push people off of him, do things a little bit easier, and his shadow clones be able to help more, being able to act as platforms as well as boosters, being able to make their own Rasengans and the Rasengans bigger, and also change them. With Kakashi's instruction, he would also be able to learn and master the Rasen Shuriken. With Dry, though, I don't see him learning Sage Mode because he didn't. Naruto with Jiraiya's training improved in minor ways, but he was on Kakashi's level. I'll give him that. Naruto, at the end of this, would be able to have the Rasen Shuriken, be able to shoot, being able to throw the, being able to increase the length of Gear 3 so it goes much higher than it did, and be able to slam Rasengans into the ground. And I wouldn't say he would be able to go into gear uh he'd be able to go into Gear 4, but I wouldn't say that would be very long. Think around it would be able to give him like a substantial boost, considering that the boost for Gear 4, at least rough estimates of like hockey and its boost, it would allow him to get a 500 times increase. And then we get into more substantial things. I see everything playing out the same, mainly because Naruto at the end of like, because he knows Gear 3 takes a lot out of him, it'd be about like 10 or 25 minutes. I mean, no, not 10, 20 minutes at max to be able to just fly around with it, use a bunch of moves with it, that sort of thing. And then uh, everything would sort of remain the same except for the fight against Kakazu. I think that with like all the boosters that he has, semi use of a one tail, being able to use Gear 4, he would be able to, in my opinion, with this Gear 4, the boost that he'd be able to have would be with his own chakra instead of Kurama's as a replacement for Haki. Uh, he'd be able to. I don't see him beating Kakazu. What I do see is um, the fight sort of ending in a stalemate. Naruto extraordinarily tired and Kakazu um, being badly damaged and uh, well, not as badly as he was with the Rasen Shuriken, mainly because the boost for this version of Gear 4 would be immense with his chakra, mixing with uh, with the two gears in one, and yeah, basically, it would be too much for him. Then we get into Sasuke versus Deidara. This fight will be epic for many reasons, but essentially due to the darkness, Sasuke would be much more hesitant to get close range and use a lot of moves, so he'd decide to test out Kirin on a strong opponent, that being Deidara. And he would improve Kirin mainly by using darkness as sort of landmines everywhere, uh, and then create a bunch of fire signals and then call it down so that way it can also act like a tracking beacon and blast Deidara if he tries to move or substitute away. Killing Deidara in the process, Sasuke would be happy. He would be fatigued. I don't see him being in the same shape he would at the end of the fight, so yeah. Then on to Naruto versus Pain. Pain's not gonna live. The boost with I think like the Naruto wouldn't get a lot of training in between arcs, but due to like the training that he did get, he would have significantly more stamina than he did before, and would be able to handle Gear 4 for about for a little bit over an hour. I don't see it taking longer than that, but yes, it would. So he'd be able to use Gear 2 longer as well, along with use Gear 3 moves more. Uh, he would be able to smack around Pain easily. In Sage Mode, he already was able to. You add in, the mobility boost that Gear 2 provides him, and he's able to smash him easy. Then you get into Itachi versus Sasuke. Now, I'm not going to say that with darkness, Sasuke would be able to beat Itachi. What I am saying is that with this new ability, Sasuke would be able to negate Amaterasu and sort of make a darkness shield like how Blackbeard can do, and would just be a little bit more reckless in this fight because now he's able to. In his fight against Deidara, he wouldn't want to because he knows the attacks do a lot of damage, and he wouldn't be able to afford that due to the pain increase that the Yami Yami no Mi provides him. Now, getting into the actual fight though, I see Sasuke just trying to plow through Itachi, do as much damage as he can, because he knows that uh, while Itachi is great physically, he doesn't have a whole lot of close range moves, at least to Sasuke's knowledge. Um, Itachi would, everything would end up the same though, and Sasuke would be played like a fiddle by Obito again. Naruto would meet him at the Five Kage Summit. But I do see the fight with A and everyone else going differently. Because Sasuke was told like to kill people and like do everything, do as much damage as he can, mainly due to the raw damage that it produces. Uh, I would say that he would undisputably release darkness everywhere. So with the now you all might be wondering, what's the range for the Yami Yami no Mi at this point? It didn't bring it up at the beginning of Shippuden. Why? Well, here I think it's a little bit more substantial because he wouldn't be working on all his chakra abilities with Orochimaru. He would be mainly working on the Yami Yami no. He would be working with chakra with Orochimaru, so he wouldn't have a whole lot of time with this. So I just sort of think that it wouldn't be that substantial to talk about here. But right now, I think that it is severely able. I think it would be lowballing it. I think it would be low to mid island level with it being able to just absorb everything in. I think he would just slam his hand into the ground and say, you know what, screw this. Screw running in there and fighting because that might get us all killed. Let's just. And so he tries to tear down as much as he can with his sheer power. And with the others' help, he is able to get to Danzo without anyone distracting him. He kills Danzo easier this time because he would just tear apart the elephant by using a shadow clone and having it use darkness by jumping on it and then, you know. Then we get into. Well, we don't really get into much aside from like Naruto versus A and how that would play out. I think because of the Gear 4 combined with KCM 1 combined with Sage Mode, it would be, well, just Gear 2 and Gear 4 and Sage Mode would be too much for A. But Naruto at this point, I don't think he'd be able to sustain Gear 4 as much as he would because, well, for starters, I see a lot of its moves doing good against A, but due to A's lightning cloak having a good match with wind release, like how the third Raikage has a good match against it. I don't necessarily see it doing a whole heck of a lot of damage to A. So then we get into the KCM plus Gear 4. I think with this boost plus Sage Mode, he would be on the same level as Madara. Hear me out. With it, he was able to be on par with Obito. With just say KCM when he was able to be on par with, well, not on par, but he was on the level of Obito. Then you add on Gear, and then you add on Gear 4, which is which is a pretty substantial increase. I would say that it would be more than Gear than KCM1. You add in Naruto's chakra plus Sage energy into the fold with Kurama's chakra. It would be I think, a pretty good tide turner. But due to the way that Gear 4 is, I don't necessarily see it, doing a whole heck of a lot with Naruto needing advantages like, uh, Kisame. I mean, no, not Kisame, Kakashi, and uh, Guy there to help him out. Then we get into everything else. I mainly think that, like, when Naruto dies at the hands of Madara, he would unlock Gear 5. Instead of going to Hagoromo, he would get Gear 5. I don't see him winning against Madara, though. He would be able to fight him, but I don't see him winning. He would do okay because he would gain some chakra back due to Obito, and he'd be able to slam Madara around, but he wouldn't do significant damage like Guy did, or and so he would die again, and then he would meet Hagoromo. Sasuke would wake up first. Sasuke would have his own fight against Madara. Due to the amps that Amaterasu and the Renegon would give him with his darkness, he'd be able to cloak Amaterasu in darkness, hiding it. And with the Diva path, he would be able to sort of cap it in sort of metal, launch these high projectile spikes at Madara, and pretty easily hold him down for some good attacks, because unlike Naruto, Sasuke can't fly unless he has his avatar around him. So Sasuke would be able to, I think, hold down Jubidara pretty well by himself. And then once Naruto jumps in, they would be able to get the win. And then against Kaguya, I do think because of Gear 5 and its substantial boost, they'd be able to win against Kaguya. Sasuke, I think, due to him fighting Jubidara longer than the rest, and also having to fight Kaguya, he'd be too tired. He'd try to do it the next day, but, he'd be thrown into prison for all his war crimes. And Naruto would help everyone sort of try and fight him. So that was part 1 of my What If Sasuke and Naruto Had Devil Fruits. Thank you all for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you want to watch some more. Hit that bell notification to let you know when I come out with a new video. And I'll see y'all next time.